Okay, let's continue on with our review for the Geometry Spring Final. Number 18. What is the image of the point 4, -9 under the translation x minus 3, y plus 5? Okay, well, this is very simple. This is just telling you to take your x coordinate, which is the 4, and subtract 3 to it. And what's 4 minus 3? 1. And then it's telling you to take your y coordinate, and your y coordinate's the -9, and add 5 to it. Well, what's -9 plus 5? -4. And that right there is our new point. And a translation, remember, that's just a slide. It slides up, down, left, or right. Okay, number 19. Sam plans to perform a transformation by translating the point 8,2, 6 units up, and then reflecting it across the y-axis. What will be the new coordinates of the point? Okay, so I'm going to plot the point 8,2. So I go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and up 2. So that guy right there is my point 8,2. Okay, a transformation can be anything. It can be a translation, which is sliding up, down, left, right. It can be a reflection. It can be a rotation. So it says that we're going to go 6 units up. So let's go up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would put me right here. And then it says it wants it reflected across the y-axis. Well, this guy right here is my y-axis. So I want to reflect it across that. I want to flip it over it. So I'm going to count how far it is to the y-axis. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is my new point, which is left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So -8, 8. And that's our new point. That's our answer. Those were easy peasy. Okay, next one. This takes us back to the very beginning of the year. It tells me that ray AB bisects angle CAD. We're going to find x and the measure of angle CAD. Okay, bisect means it chops it in half. So this ray here cuts this big angle in half. It goes, hi-ya, big angle. So where it cuts it, it makes the angle on the left equal to the angle on the right. So this angle equals this one. So 7x plus 4 equals 10x minus 20. I've got to get those x's on the same side, so I'm going to move the 7x by subtracting it. The 4 would drop, the equals would drop. 10x minus 7x is 3x, and then I drop the minus 20. Okay, at this point, I look on the side with the x. I get rid of the minus 20 by adding 20. The 3x comes down. 4 plus 20 is 24. And if you divide by 3, you get 8. Okay, so that's my solve for x. Now it wants to find the measure of angle CAD. CAD, that's this whole giant angle. So before I can find a giant angle, I got to find a little angle. So I'm going to plug 8 into x. 7 times 8 is 56. 56 plus 4 is 60. So if this angle is 60 degrees, then this angle is 60 degrees. And the whole great big angle would be 120 degrees. And that's the measure of angle CAD. That wasn't so bad. Okay, number 21. This one wants me to find the measure of angle FUN, F-U-N. So this is the angle I'm looking for right here. Okay, so these two angles, I can see that they make this straight line. So these two angles are supplementary. They're a linear pair. So these two add to be 180 because that's half a circle from here to here. So 3x plus 4x plus 5 equals 180. If I combine like terms, 3x and 4x, those combine to be 7x. I'm going to recopy the plus 5 equals 180. And then to get rid of the plus 5, I'm going to subtract the 5. 7x drops, the equals drops. 180 minus 5 makes 175. And then if I divide, that makes 25. Okay, so that's my x, but it wants to know the measure of angle FUN. Well, I know that this angle and this angle are vertical angles, so they equal. So I need to put this 25 right there in that x. And 3 times 25 is 75. So if that's a 75-degree angle, then that's a 75-degree angle. And that's the answer, 75 degrees. Okay, another page down. Let's keep on cruising. All right, next page. 22. M is the midpoint of segment RT. Well, M's the midpoint of segment RT. That means it's exactly in the middle. So if it's in the middle, the piece on the left equals the piece on the right. It tells me that RM from here to here is 5x minus 10. It tells me that MT, that's from here to here, is 7x minus 22. And then it wants me to find several things. Well, I know that these two segments are equal, so I set 5x minus 10 equal to 7x minus 22. Okay, I've got to get my x's on the same side, so I'm going to move the 5x by subtracting it. And then this is 0, that goes. The negative 10 drops, the equals drops. 7x minus 5x is 2x. The minus 22 drops. Looking on the side with your x, I'm going to get rid of the minus 22, so I'm going to add 22. The 2x drops, the equals drops. Negative 10 plus 22 makes a 12. And then I would divide both sides by 2. And if I divide both sides by 2, that makes my answer 6. Okay, so there's my x. Now it wants to know the length of RM. So RM's from here to here. So I'm going to plug that 6 in right there. 5 times 6 is 30. 30 minus 10 is 20. So RM has a length of 20. And if RM has a length of 20, MT has a length of 20. And then RT's all the way across, so all the way across would be 40. Okay, so those problems were at the very beginning of the year, but hopefully everybody remembers what bisect means and what midpoint means. So bisect, chop something in half, and midpoint means exactly in the middle. So piece on left equals piece on right. Okay, 23. We see a triangle. We're asked to find the measure of angle A. And I see that these are angles. They're not sides, they're angles. So what do we know about the three angles in a triangle? They add to be 180. So this angle 5x plus this angle 14x minus 4 plus this angle 10x plus 10 all add to be 180. Okay, I have a bunch of like terms I can combine. So 5x plus 14x is 19x. 19x plus 10x is 29x. Then I can combine the negative 4 and the positive 10, and that makes a positive 6. And then looking on the side with the x, I'm going to move the positive 6 by subtracting. When I do that, the 29x drops, the equals drops. 180 minus 6 makes 174. And if I divide both sides by 29, I get 6. Okay, but the question wanted to know the measure of angle A. So be very careful because x is not the answer. So to find the measure of angle A, I need to plug 6 back into the x. And what's 5 times 6? 30 degrees. And that's the measure of angle A. So measure of angle A is 30 degrees. Okay. 24. I have several things going on. I've got this triangle, and then I have the other triangle. So I know those three angles need to add to be 180. So I'm going to add the 20 and 89, and I'm going to take that away from 180, and that makes that missing angle 71. Well, if this one's 71, this one's 71, because those are vertical angles. And I could find x two different ways. So I'll show you one way I could do it. I know that these three angles that add to be 180. So I'm going to add my 71 and my 69. And then I'm going to take that away from 180. And that makes this angle right here 40. I know that these two angles make a straight line. So it's 180 degrees from there to there. So x is 140. And that's our answer. Now the other way you could have got x is once we figured out this was 71 here and here, then x is an exterior angle and it equals not the one next to it, but these two remote interior angles added up. And if I add 71 and 69, I get 140 that way too. So a couple ways we could have done it. Okay, 25. The midpoint of segment XY is located at the origin. Okay, here's the origin, 0, 0. That's the midpoint. That means that's the point in the middle. And one end point of this segment has coordinates 6, negative 4. So I go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and down 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's one end point. And it wants to know the coordinates of the other end point. So what's the other end point? So it would be somewhere over here. So to get from here to here, I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and I go left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I do it again. Go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and go left 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here he is. There'd be my other end point. And you can see M is the midpoint. M is the point in between these two. So then it says, what are the coordinates? So I just have to figure out the coordinates. So that's left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and up 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's negative 6, 4. Okay, another page down. (26) Identify the special quadrilateral. Use the most specific name. Look at our options. What do you think this is? Uh-oh. Let me see who it is. This is a rectangle. Yeah? No. The reason it's not a rectangle is because there's no 90-degree angles. So rectangle's out. It's not a square because there's no 90-degree angles, plus not all four sides equal, so square's out. Trapezoid, definitely not. So this is a parallelogram. Whenever you have two sets of congruent sides and then two sets of parallel sides, then that's a parallelogram. Now a trapezoid looks something like this. That would be like an isosceles trapezoid, or it could look something like this. That's a trapezoid, but definitely not isosceles. Okay, 27. It says find the length of the median of the trapezoid. So the median is this guy right here. I want to know what he is. I'm going to call him Mr. X. So the way it works is the median is the average of the two bases. So I'm going to add these two numbers together and divide by 2. So I'm going to add the 11 and 17 and divide by 2. So median is in the middle, so that means it's the average of the two bases. So I'm going to add the 11 plus 17 and divide by 2. And that makes my x 14. Okay, 28. A long time ago, we talked about a parallelogram that has two sets of parallel sides and two sets of congruent sides. So the top's congruent to the bottom, the left's congruent to the right. So 3y plus 12 equals 9y minus 6. Let's get those y's on the same side. So I'm going to move my 3y by subtracting it. And then the 12 is going to drop. The equals is going to drop. 9y minus 3y is 6y. The minus 6 drops. Looking on the side with the y, I'm going to move my minus 6. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides. The 6y drops. The equals drops. 12 plus 6 is 18. And then I divide both sides by 6, and I get y is 3. And that's all it wanted. I just double checked to see that it says find y, not find something else. So I'm going to stop right there. Okay. I'm going to do these 2 questions, and then I think we'll stop this video. And then I'll do some more on a separate video. Okay, this is a rhombus. So a rhombus has 4 congruent sides, and I know that the diagonals are perpendicular, which means all these angles on the inside are 90 degrees. The diagonals also bisect each other, so this piece equals this piece, and this piece equals this piece. Okay, it wants the measure of angle AED. AED. And what's the measure of that angle? 90 degrees. Okay, then it tells me if BC is 8, so BC has a length of 8, then how long is CD? Well, 8, because all 4 sides have to be the same if it's a rhombus. Okay, last one for this video. Number 30, quadrilateral STUV is a square. So if it's a square, I know all 4 sides are congruent. I know that my corner angles are all 90. That's not true in a rhombus, but it is true in the square and rectangle. And because a square is a rhombus, I know that these diagonals are perpendicular, so that means there are 90-degree angles in the center also. And I know the diagonals are, they bisect each other, so this piece equals this piece, and this piece equals this piece. Okay, let's just see what it says. It says, what's the measure of angle UTW? UTW. And what do you think the measure of that angle is right there, UTW? It's 45 degrees. I know this whole angle here is 90, and this is going to be half of that. It's going to be 45 degrees. And that's because a square will have a diagonal bisect one of the angles it comes in contact with. So these 2 angles are the same, and if the whole thing's 90, then each of those are 45. Okay, we're going to stop the video right here, and then I'll begin again later.